That morning I was tending to the roses in my garden, completely unaware of what life had in store for me. My hands were buried in the soil, checking the roots of the saplings I had just planted. Everything was normal and calm, just like any other day, until a sharp pain shot through my back. I had no idea what was about to unfold, especially with my step-nephew Lucas being there by pure coincidence. My garden had always been my sanctuary, my escape. After my husband Henry passed away, it became the one place that truly healed my soul. But that day, everything felt different. I was 57, but people would often say, "Margaret, how do you manage to look so youthful at your age?" Honestly, there was no big secret. I just took care of myself, a healthy diet, regular exercise, and a determination to never lose the young woman inside me. But I'll admit, loneliness had sunk deep into my soul. My beauty might have still turned heads, but inside, there was an emptiness I couldn't shake. As I was positioning one of the saplings, a sudden pain stabbed through my back. It was so sharp and unexpected that I dropped everything I was holding. For a moment, I closed my eyes, trying to breathe through the pain, but it didn't help. The ache spread from my shoulder down my back, leaving me frozen in place, unable to move. Then, out of nowhere, I heard Lucas's voice. "Aunt Margaret, are you okay?" Lucas, 22 years old, broad shoulders, muscular build, and the kind of face you'd see on a magazine cover. His dark hair shimmered in the sunlight, and his piercing eyes were locked on me with concern. He had this natural charm, the kind that caught everyone's attention, even though he didn't seem to notice it himself. And now, all that youthful energy seemed completely focused on helping me. "My back," I managed to say, pointing to the spot where the pain was west. "Something's wrong. I can't move." Lucas crouched down beside me. "Let me help," he said. When his big hands touched my shoulders, I felt an involuntary shiver run through me. "I'll give you a massage. It usually helps," he added. I didn't have the strength to protest. I was willing to try anything to ease the pain, but what really caught me off guard was the effect his touch had on me. Lucas placed his hands on my back, then began pressing gently. I had to admit, I hadn't felt this kind of closeness in years. His fingers were strong, but surprisingly gentle, as they moved over my tense muscles. The pain slowly faded, replaced by a strange warmth spreading through me. It was as if the lonely woman inside me had suddenly been awakened. I let out a breath, a little too deep maybe. "Lucas," I started to say, but the words caught in my throat. I couldn't finish. He didn't say anything either, just kept massaging, his hands gliding over my back in a way that made me hyper-aware of every touch. In that moment, I felt something shifting, and it both scared me and excited me in ways I wasn't prepared for. Lucas kept working his hands across my back, steady and deliberate, until he suddenly paused and leaned closer to look at me. "Margaret, this is really bad," he said, his voice serious and concerned. "We can't fix this out here in the garden. Let's get you inside, near the fireplace. The warmth will help, and I'll grab some cream to rub on your back. We've got to take care of this." I hesitated for a second, but the pain made the decision for me. I nodded, and he helped me to my feet. "Careful, take it slow," he said, his strong hand supporting me. There was something oddly comforting about how he held me, a closeness I hadn't felt in years. When we got inside, the crackling fire filled the room with a warm golden glow. The heat wrapped around me like a blanket, instantly easing some of the tension in my body. Lucas quickly spread a blanket on the floor and motioned for me to lie down. "You need to stretch out your back in a more comfortable position," he said, his eyes serious, but with a flicker of hesitation. "I've got some cream. It'll help loosen those muscles." I lay down, feeling the fire's warmth seep into me, as Lucas rubbed the cream between his hands to warm it up. The first touch of his hand on my shoulders made me let out a breath I didn't even realize I'd been holding. "Just relax," he said softly. "You'll feel better in no time." But every touch of his hands was doing more than just easing my physical pain. It was stirring something inside me. Something I thought I'd buried a long time ago. As his fingers moved down my back, my thoughts became both clearer and more chaotic. Lucas's touch wasn't just healing, it was awakening. For a moment, I hesitated inside, but the pain was too much, so I quickly accepted. Lucas gently grabbed my arm and helped me to my feet. "Take it slow. Be careful," he said. When his strong hands almost completely wrapped around me, I felt an odd sense of security. This young man's protectiveness gave me a closeness I hadn't felt in years. As we sat near the fire, the warmth seeped into my bones, melting away the last remnants of pain. I looked at Lucas and smiled softly. "Thank you," I said, meaning it more than he could know. He returned my smile, his eyes filled with something deep and unspoken. "Anytime," he replied. And in that moment, for the first time in years, I didn't feel alone anymore.